Hello everyone, welcome to Geology at Leicester. My name is Mark Reicher. I'm a lecturer here at the university and will talk you through geology here at the University of Leicester. I'm also here is Tom Harvey, who is a paleontologist. Will after the presentation be able to talk to you if you have any questions, so you will have time afterwards to ask us about the degree, about the university, living in Leicester, anything you want to know about the place here. Please put that in the chat so you have question and time for chat later on. Now, I'm a volcanologist. I'm also lecturing here and do outreach as well for schools. So what is geology? So geology at Leicester. So a bit a background about this. So now, what about the University of Geology itself? So the University of Leicester is like, here's some of the stats. Here's some ranked like the 22nd university in the UK by the Times Higher Education. In like this year, the world ranking. We're 30th in the UK overall, according to the Guardian, and most importantly, we are ranked 4th in sciences by the National Student Survey in 21. So what is geology? In a way, you've probably heard about this and you have a good understanding of like what geology represents, but geology is a vast expanding topic subject, which even myself after 20-30 years still find subject with, oh wow, I can do this as a geologist. So as a geologist, you try to understand planet Earth. It's like how it works from its interior, so like the different spheres, we know the layers, also like the crust we have, and then the biosphere, the interaction between this and the atmosphere. So the interaction between these different spheres, we look at geologists at this and try to understand that. We make use of this. What we also do is like we're looking for resources, be it oil, gas, or deposits we use to manufacture items like mobile phones, cars, electric cars, planes, anything, computers, plates, all that. Geologists will have a contribution to. We can't manufacture anything or keep our houses warm without energy. We plug in our devices, electronic devices, and the energy, the electricity is coming through that. But how do we produce that? Now, you think like the people are doing this, but geologists. There are geologists involved because you here, like on the picture, see like an energy, like a wind farm, geothermal as well, or any other energy producing company will have geologists employed. What we also look at are natural hazards like earthquakes, and like me as volcanologist, I'm looking, of course, at volcanic explosive eruptions. All these, what risks do they pose to the environment, to humans? Are there any risks at all? So about 600 million people live nearby volcanoes or on volcanoes. So there's a real risk there, and we have to understand that. Well, not every volcano is dangerous, but we have to study these and understand that. And of course, here as well in Leicester, we're very strong in terms of like the paleontology group. And Tom Harvey, as I said, is here as well this evening. We look at the evolution of life. How did life develop? How did it evolve? How did it change? And as well, like mass extinction. And this, my realm as volcanologist, plays into this as well. So we work closely together here. So these are kind of like a couple of themes we cover here at Leicester. But also the challenge we address as geologists are manifold. Climate change. I just saw on the image here, the Earth is just like the color change. It's like global warming is a really big topic. That's something we have to address. How do you prevent CO2 emitted into the atmosphere, and how can we actually get it out, the CO2 it's already in the atmosphere, back and capture it? So climate change, pollution. Also, we address this as geologists. Water supply. We're just very used to open the tap and drink water, but this water has to come from somewhere and it has to be drinkable. This is in some areas a huge problem. Natural disasters, as mentioned, earthquakes and volcanoes, not so much a problem in the UK, but other parts of the world have serious problems with earthquakes and other natural hazards, storms as well. Urbanization, we expand, we build more and more and more. With that, we actually shrink the habitats of animals, and we have to consider that and plan ahead and think about how we can do this. Is it essential? Is it necessary? And how can we deal with the pollution going with it? And of course, I mentioned that as well, the energy supply. We need energy, electricity, any form, especially if we are moving into having more electric cars. We need more electricity. And how do we produce that? No one wants a coal-powered power station or atomic power station. So we have to think about alternatives. And the resources to build all the infrastructures, we aren't looking into this. A few more stats here. So I said, like, we're the 4th in the UK in earth sciences, which we're very proud of. But one thing I'm like to specifically highlight is like the student service. This is your voice, the students' voices, which actually ranked us here. 98% of the students testify that courses are intellectually stimulating. We want you to learn and we want you to challenge, because we want you to be prepared when you leave after 3 or 4 years of your degree, to be prepared for a working environment. And the industry, the employers value our students. 95% of students are in work or further education after 6 months after they're graduating. Courses are accredited by the Geological Society of London. What this has meant, actually, there's a standard. The Geological Society, the oldest geological society in the world, describes what actually geology should cover, and they assess the quality of our teaching and research, and we are accredited and acknowledged by the Geological Society. So why study geology at Leicester? So why you should join us? We pride ourselves on our commitment to teaching and learning, support you, and to realise your full potential. We undertake world-leading research, and we want our students to get involved. And the picture here, you see Jane, our T-Rex, and also like Sungano is a 4th year student. When he actually was a 4th year, that was last year. Now he's working with us. He joined the 4th year volcanology field class, and is now actually working with us in environmental sciences. So he learned the skills from life in the field and transferred those now into environmental sciences and looking to extract all resources in a sustainable way. There's some more examples here. Omar, we have who actually worked on his 4th year project with Ariana Resources in northeastern Turkey, and we have links to industry and the public sector would help to introduce you to the professional world of work. So Omar worked in Turkey. Here is Zach, who actually took the Earth Science in Education module, and here at the final day when he submitted his work, very happy. And on the next image, here's he again. Here's Zach again, 1 year later, and this is now like his first job was actually as a science communicator at the last COP26 or last year COP26 meeting up in northern Scotland. Now he's actually employed by the government as a policy advisor in the Department for Business, Industry and Industrial Strategy. So he's now in Westminster, and he said that selecting geology, the overarching geology program, gave me a wide range of module choices. Taking volcanology gave me the confidence in presenting and developing new ideas. So being in the field, thinking out of the box, coming up with new ideas that really helped him to employ that skill in a complete different environment now, policy making. And now here the module he took, environmental geoscience, which Tom Harvey is the lead of, is here as well tonight, opened my eyes to the interaction of geology, human activity and legislation. That really just showed you how different the interactions you can have and the variety of job opportunities you can have with geology. So what about us? So this here is a picture of us. We're a very friendly bunch of people. So we have the School of Geography, Geology and the Environment. So we work with students to learn and teach about the past, present and future of the planet. So the different spheres, the different areas I presented to you earlier on. We have a dedicated student resource room, state-of-the-art lecture theatres and practical laboratories. And more importantly, these are open to you 24/7. You have your swipe card and you can join us as well after teaching hours. You just have access to the building and to the collection, so you can study in your own time as well. We have an extensive award-winning collection of more than 250,000 rocks, minerals and fossils. And as I said, 24/7 access to study space, ICT facilities and industry standard software. And we use that as well in our teaching, our second and third year teaching. We have industry standard software because we want you to be prepared for your future job and work. So what courses do we offer here at Leicester? One already mentioned, that is like the geology, that one Zach chose, which has the widest variety and options available to you. So we have geology. We also offer geology with paleontology, applied and environmental geology, and all those are available as Bachelors of Science or Master in Geology, and all are accredited by the Geological Society of London. And the panel actually rated our courses as excellent. Plus, we also have a Bachelor's in Science in Physical Geography and Geology, and all with the options to do a foundation year and also a year in industry. The style of learning. So how do you learn at university? So this is very different to what you may be used to at school. There's no overlap, but learning changed dramatically in the last 20-30 years. So we offer a mix of traditional lectures alongside small group tutorials, practical classes and workshops, and of course there's the field teaching. So it's student-centered and research-led. So we bring our research into the classroom. A lot of what we teach you is not written in books, that's directly from our research into the classroom. The other week, there was last year, there were a couple of eruptions, volcanic eruptions. So what just happened a few days before will be brought into the teaching room, into the classroom. We will discuss this with you. In your first year, you can expect a lot of us in terms of contact hours. You have about 20 hours per week. So there's a lot of time where we actually will be seeing you in the classroom. There's also like a field component in the first year where we have one-on-one teaching, and you see hands-on experience in the field and also in the laboratories where you actually gain experience and develop your skills. So what about our modules themselves, the programs we offer? So what do they contain in more details? So the course here, the geology one, course provides knowledge and skills for understanding Earth systems and processes. It's a more broader program. So you have the widest range of module choices, from planetary science to volcanology. You can also choose environmental geosciences or paleontology. So this program is perfect if you want to develop a broad interest across the whole discipline. Again, the job employment or the job Zach later chose, it was ideal for him. The geology with paleontology. So here this program combines knowledge and skill base of a degree in geology with expertise in scientific study of fossils. So you focus on paleontological themes from evolution and extinction to the use of fossils in revealing past climates and environments. You can undertake an independent field-based project in a philosophized area as well. So this is ideal if you want to know about more about climate change, evolution of life, and as well like the input humans have, which is like Leicester here known for in spearheading, is the Anthropocene. So it's a new era and a new geological record we as human beings leave or introduce to our planet. We also have applied and environmental geology. So this program provides you with the skills to locate and manage Earth's resources in a sustainable way, from mineral exploration to novel green technologies. Now, the times we just like extracted those resources from the ground and just leave like a mess behind, these are long over. So the environmental geology and the applied geology does not have the best reputation, but we need these resources and we can extract those in a more sustainable and much clever way than we used to do. So it offers unique subject-specific modules and work experience opportunities. And it equips you with the knowledge and skills to apply geology to environmental systems. Now, our physical geography and geology program. So what's behind this? So this is a Bachelor of Science degree that draws on both disciplines to create a strong earth and environmental science program. So it provides the opportunity to investigate issues such as climate change, desertification, and water quality. It links sedimentology, so that's the geology part of this program, and contemporary land surface processes, that's like geography. So this links between like the surface processes, so the geography part and the geology part together. So modules include system and climate change. Now, of course, there's also the field component, and we offer lots of field work as part of our training. So in your first year, you will actually go to Arran, the Isle of Arran, up to Scotland. The second year, we offer Spain, Anglesey, and also the Lake District. And then in the third year, so you have more options. So the first and second year, these are all our students will go there. These occasions, and in the third year, depending on what module or program you chose, you have a wider option available to you. One is the Tenerife, that's our volcanology field class. Then we have Cornwall for the applied group, and Wales for the paleontology, to actually see, like in the geological record, the climate change through time. As a fourth year option, we have various options here, is either in the UK or overseas. And the combinations varies for different degrees. We advise to see actually the brochures here for details, or we can put that later as well in the chat and ask us about more details. There's one thing subject to pandemic and other developments. Sometimes I have to highlight this. Fingers crossed there is no other pandemic, but we will provide alternatives for you. Here's just like a few more images from our field locations where the students sit there here. That is actually from Anglesey on a really nice sunny day, and sunsets always make for fantastic pictures on these field classes. Now our staff, that's us. So you will be taught by internationally leading experts. So here is Professor Sarah Gabbard. She's holding a rock, and I always say this, I love this picture of my colleague. You always know when you are dealing with a geologist, because only geologists hold a rock and smile like her, like this really glancing eyes there, like absolutely loving it. She's holding a very precious piece of rock in her hand. So you will be taught by experts, and the teaching is research led. So we bring our research into the classroom, but student centered. We listen as well to you. So your interests as well. You might say like, oh, this is very interesting, or I'd like to hear more about this. We change our teaching as well and make it centered around you, about your interests. Here's Professor Mike Brenner and myself, who's just standing in the background, is Tiden. This is on the island of Tenerife, one of the Canary Islands, on the third year volcanology field class. They're actually heading out next week, flying out there to teach volcanological field skills with the students. Here's Professor Gavin Jenkin. He's holding a very precious little stone or specimen here, which provides the resources we need for electric cars. That is actually quite precious. So yeah, you see like a few books coming up here as well about the Anthropocene. So we also author popular science books about the Anthropocene and publish these. We are all fellows of the higher education of the academy, which this means is that we actually all have a teaching qualification. Yes, we're researchers, but we also have teaching qualifications, and we are developing our teaching skills. We're friendly and approachable, and we make time for you. Today, I saw a couple of my students. You have tutorial times. We have welcome and feedback times where actually students can come to my office and we just chat about whatever their progression, their career. And when it goes closer to Christmas or January, it's also exam period, so we'll talk about this. We are involved in public discussions, plenary discussions on human impact on planet Earth, the Anthropocene in Berlin. And down here on the bottom, there's Jens sitting in the middle, here on the lower picture on the right, and Jens Alesevich as well, talking to a large audience about the climate change, the impact of humans has on our planet. So climate change debate at COP26 was Zach was involved, Jens was there, and of course the plastic cycle and impact on the environment. So plastic, the plastic is everywhere, and it's causing a huge problem for the environment and creating lots of pollution. So how do we support you? So you have a personal tutor in the school. So personal tutors, these are usually groups of 7 to 8 students, are assigned to one staff member. We have fortnightly meetings in the first year, but we are there throughout your entire time with us, whether it's 3 or 4 years. So we will have meetings with you. You can pre-arrange those as well. And less structured in the second and third years, but we're here to help you through your career as well, in terms of helping CV writing, applications, what to look for, finding jobs as well. We also have a careers development service. We have one-to-one advice, helping you to prepare you for your job applications, for your interviews. So we have application coaching, preparation for interviews, mock interviews, all this can be arranged. Of course, then we have also annual in-house careers days, bring as well speakers from the industry, academia, as well into the university, talking about their work experience, the industry they're working in, what they look for in students and graduates, skills. So you have these as well coming to the university, and you also have the opportunity in the in-house careers days to talk to them. I said visiting speakers from industry and academia. We also have the University of Leicester, the Leicester Award. This is actually an award, like it's embedded, integrated in our teaching, in our program. So we actually have group works and work you have to complete and reflect on. Reflecting not about the topic you actually wrote about, it's more about the skills. Be together, putting like a report together, working in a team, time management. Reflect on the transferable skills which are applicable to any job you will do later on, any career you may follow, these transferable skills. So Leicester Award is an award which is accredited and as well acknowledged by the industry and known. So you have something as well, if you successfully complete that, to show as well to the industry or future employers as demonstrating of your transferable skills. Employability. In the end, of course, you want to study and also you want to be employable. You want to have a job later on. So geoscience graduates are valued in many professionals because the independent working and problem solving skills, these transferable skills I mentioned, they are useful for any job. Geologists or geoscientists are also known for their critical data analysis. So it's again applicable and important for a wide range of variety of careers. And training in independent working. Yes, we have to work in groups, but we also have to be individual driven and work. Now here a couple of pictures here of our students on graduation day, and I see on the right you see this as an environmental geoscientist on site drilling a few boreholes and taking samples. Then here, this is like Sarah talking to the Scottish MP. She's working now in decommissioning nuclear waste or any other radioactive waste. So what do we do with this? It's not just the nuclear waste, it's also from hospitals. So she's working in decommissioning. What other careers and employabilities are there? So environmental consultancy is a large sector. So wherever you go, build a house or any development, the ground has to be investigated. Be it new ground or former industry places, they have to be investigated for any contamination and have to be analysed as well. The rocks have to be the stratigraphy has to be recorded. Renewable energy sector. Here's like a picture on the bottom right. It's like it's a boat, a barge actually dragging out a new wind turbine out to sea. Again, sent by one of our students. It's like, this is the view from my office. So he's working in the renewable energy sector. Geotechnical engineers is a large sector, and exploration geology there as well, of course. Now here, the top picture, you see a large group of people, and within there is one of our graduates was involved in making like the tunnels, the new tunnels in London, and the student was involved in overseeing parts of this project and being responsible for guiding and the workforce there. There's also others here, science, in other industries like microtechnics, where our students had their year in industry and were later on as well employed. Now here's just a few just like logos from employers which actually our students went to and are employed in now. Just a few, so size I mentioned already. As you can see, like, yes, universities, so also go further education, follow careers in academia, become professors undertaking research, or being involved in teaching, learning, and now like at schools, going into teaching, higher education, or at A levels or other primary schools. Then you see a few like environments, long life image treatments, soil engineering, so soil engineering, environmental consultancies, aggregate industries, huge employer. The vast majority of the UK roads are supplied and made by aggregates. A lot of it is actually coming here from a few quarries from Leicestershire. So you see, there's a wide range of different employers and ranges in work available to you. Opportunities here, just like Helen, a few pictures showing her at her year in industry options. She was partnered with Hydrock as an environmental consultant, and she wrote a really, really nice blog about her work experience, drilling, taking notes, and looking here at the record, the rocks underneath the soil, and writing reports on those. Other opportunities. Now, yes, Alex, so you have national and international placements in a number of sectors, including exploration, environmental and geoconservation, and some Alex here on the right-hand top right is in the picture. Don't know whether you can make it out, but she's actually sitting in a helicopter heading towards Greenland from their side to where they actually their camp to their locations. They are every day the helicopter day in and out to actually her workplace. So did this for a couple of months, absolutely loved it. And now the same company is now employing her, and she's now in Australia. So you also have study abroad opportunities, and quite a large range of study abroad opportunities. One is New Zealand. Yes, like students just standing here in Christchurch. So we're linked with the University of Canterbury in Christchurch. And of course, you can get involved with our research and student committees. There's lots of opportunities to do, and we also strongly support sportive activities. Wednesdays afternoons are always there for all sports, and we have very keen footballers, basketballers, yes, rowing as well, just to name it a few. So how do you apply to Leicester? So what are we looking for? So you would apply to the UCAS system. So entry grades are ABB to BBB for the Bachelors of Science, or for the Masters of Geology, which is a 4-year degree, you would look for AAB. Foundation year, so you look at BCC. So I stress that here, these are typical requirements, but we consider every application, so individually. So please get in touch. So if you're unsure about your marks, please get in contact. We look at every single application, and we're happy to talk you through this as well beforehand if you're unsure about your marks. What we're looking for is we look for enthusiastic students who want to make a difference, who want to have a contribution, who want to change the world. So we're looking for students who have empathy and the ability to care for others, have the ability to treat people with respect, thrive with responsibility and leadership, have the ability to manage uncertainty, have resilience, and have the ability to solve problems. We apply all these things in our teaching and the skills we want you to develop. So we want you to become a citizen of change. So why Leicester? Just like to sum it up as a last slide here. We are committed and enthusiastic researchers and teachers. We love what we do. We offer a large range of modules to choose from. We are flexible. You can change the degree streams after the first year and from BSc to MGL up to your third year. You may start with geology in the first year, and then at the end of the first year, it's like you decided actually the geology is not, I want more specialized modules. I'd rather go for the paleontology, the geology with paleontology option, or the geology with the applied option. You can do this. You can change your mind. Our teaching is research-led, but student-centered. And you can contact us as well. So you have questions later on, drop us an email to geology@le.ac.uk and please get in contact. Now, we also have scholarships. So to mark the 100th anniversary, it was actually last year, but we still offer them. So we extended that by a year. So to mark the 100th anniversary of the university, we offer 100 citizenship change scholarships. So you could receive bursaries up to £7,500 for UK students, £2,500 a year for the first 3 years of study, and 50% off your first year tuition fees for international and EU students. All you need to do, apply, send us a video, 60 seconds long max, in response to the questions, what do you want to change? For full terms and conditions, just visit our webpage, le.ac.uk/scholarships. Just have a look, answer the questions. Question, what do you want to change? Okay, which brings me to the end of my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. And Tom is here as well in the background. I will stop sharing my presentation.
Hi, I'm happy to introduce myself at this point and thank Mark for a great talk. That was a really nice overview of geology and our degree courses here in Leicester. So my name's Dr. Tom Harvey. I'm a lecturer in paleontology, and I'm also the admissions tutor for our geology degrees. So I think I'll just say a few words about the sort of frequently asked questions we get at this stage in the application cycle, because you might share these same sort of concerns, and it might help to talk through. So I think at this stage, a lot of people are thinking, which degree exactly do I apply for? Should I do the 3-year option, the 4-year option? Do I need to specify a year in industry at this stage, a year abroad? Should I choose something more open-ended or something more specific and specialized? And really, I'd just like to reassure you that whatever you apply for at this stage, we do have that flexibility built into the system. So as Mark mentioned in his talk, actually, it is possible to change degree streams at the end of the first year, and often later than that. For example, you can change onto the MGOL 4-year program really up until the middle of the 3rd year, at which point we say, come on now, are you going to graduate this year or carry on for another year? That's the decision time. And as long as you're getting pretty good grades, we'll let you transfer to that 4th year course if you think that's the thing for you. In terms of the more specialist degree streams, the with paleo stream or the applied and environmental stream, actually in your first year, you'll be doing the same modules as everyone else in geology. So you'll see the full breadth of the subject, and that's where you can really discover what your interests are. And if you want to keep your options open through your degree and have that full optionality, then you just stay on the geology program and choose your options as you go through. So don't worry too much at this stage about that. If we receive an application and you accept and you come here, then you can discuss the options as you go through the degree with us. So I think I'll just have a look at these questions that have come through in the Q&A and see if I can have a go at answering those. So one that's come in: do graduates have good prospects in terms of securing a position in a related industry? So yeah, that's a great question, because of course, I think the best reason to choose geology as a degree is because you love it, you're fascinated by it, it intrigues you, and you want to expand your learning on it. But it is reassuring, isn't it, to think that there are jobs out the other end where your skills will be highly valued. And that is true. Our graduates find great success whether they choose to go into a geoscience discipline or something else, some other professional sphere. And I think it's all the transferable skills that you pick up in geology that make you actually quite highly regarded as a graduate. Those field trips, the lab work, the work with specimens, the work with data sets, the work, just dealing with uncertainty and interpreting complex natural systems. These are all skills that are really transferable to lots and lots of industries and sectors. So yes, I think the stats are 95% of our students are in work or further study 6 months after graduation. It's always around that level, and it's just wonderful to see all the different things our graduates go into, and how they thrive in all sorts of different sectors. I can see there's a question about field trips, and in particular, there's a question about where the field trips visit in Wales. Yeah, that's interesting. So I don't go on those trips myself, but I know something from my colleagues about where they go. So there's a second-year field trip to Anglesey in North Wales, and the rocks there are really quite complex. They've been quite highly deformed. They're very folded by Earth, by tectonic movements. So that's where we send our students to practice looking at those difficult rocks and unraveling their interesting history to find out about Earth movements, mountain building events, that sort of thing. If you were to choose the paleo option in the third year, then there's a field trip to Wales as well, but actually to South Wales, to Pembrokeshire. And you go to the St David's area, actually, and follow a transect through the Welsh borderlands. So you see the Welsh Basin from its shallower water rocks in the Welsh borderlands right through to the deep water rocks. And you see it evolve, if you like, through time, from the Precambrian, when it was a volcanic region, through deepening and then shallowing marine conditions. We're talking, hundreds of millions of years ago here, but you'll learn that history in Pembrokeshire, which is just a lovely place to be anyway. I think I'll hand over to Mark at this point to add some comments.
Just to add what Tom what Tom told you about, like the prospects of terms securing positions. So yes, absolutely. So we also have a strong link with our alumni, so former students. You will see that actually the world of geology is fairly small in terms of you have loads of friends worldwide. With inviting people to talk to our students, presenting about their work, having work placements, either as internships or year in industry, you make connections, you make links, and working in these areas and having these links definitely will help you to secure positions later on. Because as Tom just said as well, you want a degree, but with a degree which you're fascinated about, which you really love, a topic you're just really interested in, you also want a job with that. You also want to earn money with this. So we did this, and we found employment in there. So our graduate students secured that as well. That said, there's also so that a large portion of our students will actually be employed in the field of geology, but with the transferable skills, you also be employed for other areas. We have students working as as advisors in the stock market for banks, risk assessments. So it's quite varied and interesting what you can do as a geologist with risk assessment for insurances. A couple of our students were doing this, so I found it really interesting to see the variety of different jobs available to you. And with coming back as well to Wales, where you can go. We also find volcanic rocks there. So you find one of the oldest explosive deposits, like we call like ignimbrite in Wales. So we bring our students there and talk them through this, walk through the sections and explain. There's one part we absolutely love is just going through the rocks, what they tell us about the past. So it's kind of like a murder mysteries story. You try to, or detective story. You try to unravel and come up with a story what happened in the past. And the nice thing is that we very often don't all have the same interpretation of what happened, and that's the exciting thing. It's not always one answer. This is what I really love about geology. You can have several answers which are all really, really good and in interesting. Just seeing whether there's we'll just hand over to Tom while I just look for some more questions.
Thanks, Mark. Yeah, I'll come back in just to quickly get through some other questions. Quite a few have been coming in the Q&A, which is brilliant. So I'll just try to sort of summarize some of them, perhaps. I think there's some interest in the discussion about this 3-year versus 4-year option, the BSc or the MGOL, and then postgraduate degrees, even MScs, PhDs. So some people are really thinking ahead. I think, don't panic at this stage, because you'll find out more about the different pathways as you go through the degree, and it doesn't all depend on this initial decision you make at this stage, not by any means. But the MGOL is really good if you're thinking about going into postgraduate research, because really you're doing a 6-month mini project in there that's a bit like a mini PhD, a very independently driven research project. So that's great to see if that's, if that's something you'd enjoy, to continue after your degree here in Leicester or elsewhere. In terms of salaries, yes, there are great opportunities to go straight from a BSc into industry without any need for a further degree. In some industries, they might look to see a master's in there. Sometimes you might come back from industry and do a postgraduate degree later. So again, all these pathways make themselves clear as you go through, and it's not a decision you have to take now. Interesting talks, interesting questions coming in about field trips, if I can try and answer them very quickly in the remaining time. Firstly, about costs. So I'm glad to say the field trip costs are highly subsidised by the university. So we would ask for £100 and no more in your first year to cover the first year field trip to the Isle of Arran in Scotland. And then we'd ask for £250 in your second year. And that takes you on several trips. Currently, that gets our students to Spain, Anglesey, and the Lake District. And then after that, it depends what optional field trips you choose. There's an interesting question about accessibility, because we try and make the whole program as accessible as possible, and that includes the fieldwork. So have you had any students with visual impairments or other disabilities? Certainly, yes, we've had people, visually impaired students, who've had accompanying guides out with them in the field and that sort of thing. So we work with the students and with our really fantastic accessibility team here at the university to find something that works for you. So we go out of our way to make it work for you, because we're all individuals. And finally, just something about the application procedure, personal statements. We do look at grades, of course we do, but we look at it in the round as well. So I'll look at your statement, I'll look at all your qualifications, your interests, and then come to a decision based on that. So if you're in any doubt, please apply, send in the application, and we'll consider them individually. I think probably I'll be in trouble if I carry on, because we're probably getting out of time now. So I think at this point, yeah, it's great. There's some chat going on about Pembrokeshire. Brilliant. Somewhere I'd love to go back soon. Anyway, I must thank you all for attending. I must thank Mark once again for his fantastic talk. And if you do have any questions, please email us. Your email will get through to me, actually, if you email geology@le.ac.uk. So that will get through to me directly as admissions tutor, and I'll try and get back to you ASAP with your queries. Right, thank you very much for attending, and hope you enjoy the rest of your evening.